Greetings, social media land. This is Ted Victor, founder of the Broward Social Network. Today is Tuesday, July the 28th at approximately 6:30, 6:45 more likely. And we are interviewing Mr. Lester Ealey III, American traveler. Lester Ealey has been on a wonderful journey the recent couple of weeks, and we are here to discuss living your dream with Mr. Lester Ealey. Lester Ealey, please. Hundreds and thousands of members of the Broward Social Network in South Florida and throughout the state of Florida will get to see and hear this interview. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Lester Ealey, and I am a assistant sales manager for Palm Beach Harley Davidson. Like he just said, I just traveled the country, so I'm really excited about it. Really, I'm excited to talk about it.
Lester, we've known each other for a couple of years now. Before we get into the wonderful journey that you've taken across the United States on your motorcycle, talk to the hundreds and thousands of people who will see this about networking opportunities, about business opportunities, about actually moving forward to the next level professionally.
Well, networking is the backbone of this country. Networking will always help you move forward and accomplish all of the goals you need in life. Without networking in business, most people do not move forward and prosper. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is, I'm a firm believer in that. That also helped put together this trip, and we'll talk more about that later. But networking is probably the essence of who I am. So definitely, I'm definitely a firm believer in that.
Okay, so what made you want to take this major trip? We're going to talk about the general and then we'll talk about the detail, because we'll be here for about an hour and I want to get as much information as possible, because I can see book deals, movie deals. So talk to us as to why did you even want to take this major journey, practically risking your life, riding all across the United States, and how did you go about it?
Well, the first thing was that I had just the idea had came to me a couple of years ago, right before my 40th birthday. But the problem was that a journey like this requires time off from work, and it requires money. And so either I had the money and didn't have the time from work, or I had the time from work and didn't have the money. So the whole essence of the trip was to, de-cleanse myself. I wanted to get on my motorcycle and be with my own thoughts. And I also wanted to see the country from a motorcycle. I never had any intention of putting it on social media. We'll get to how that happened in a second. Right, but that's kind of where it all started. And then once I went on the trip, I wanted to do things that I had never done before, things that I normally wouldn't do. I'm going to do them on this trip, and I have stories about that too. So,
in other words, you're taking the road less traveled, which is a famous line for people who are trailblazers and movers and shakers.
Absolutely. It was absolutely amazing just to put it together. And then the route around the country was pretty easy. If you ride this country, you'll realize that everything connects, right? Mm-hmm. So 95 connects to 90, connects to 5, connects to 10. Once you know that, you can never get lost on this trip. So that was another thing also.
What dates were you on travel?
July 4th, I left out and came back on July 21st.
Okay, so you started out on July 4th.
Actually, July 2nd.
Okay, so you started out on July 2nd. Mm-hmm. And then you came back July 24th, correct?
That's correct.
So we're looking
21st.
at 21st. So we're looking at essentially 3 weeks.
Correct.
Okay, so aside from the details of this travel, one of the many important conversations that we need to kind of examine is that there's just a lot of current events happening around this time. Around this time, you have manifestations, you have police brutality, you have conversations about George Floyd, and you are a black man, a bald-headed black man with a goatee on a motorcycle.
Absolutely.
So, so, so what's going through your mind as you travel the country? Because I think every state has a personality,
It
every state
does.
has a culture, and I'm guessing that you are received differently in different states, right? So, what did you
Absolutely.
hear on the news as you were getting to see people, getting to know people, and making friends along the way?
I noticed that the main thing that I noticed is people around the country that I was exposed to. I can't speak for everyone, but the
Mhm.
people that I were exposed to were not as concerned about the coronavirus as what the media leads on. They're not as concerned. There are certain places like Seattle. Seattle was very bold about their concern for it. I mean, everywhere was mask. Every store I went into was mask. The people around you wore masks. I mean, just random people outside, they had masks on. And then you get to states like Iowa and Minnesota, they weren't as I wasn't exposed to the to that as often as I was in that particular area. As far as police brutality, um, I'm exposed to that all the time anyway, so I don't worry about that. Any state I go in, I can experience that, so that's not that was never a concern of mine. But one thing that I can say is that I would have 4 encounters with police on this trip, and all 4 times, all 4 times, I had no issues. I had not one thing. I've realized that the way that you interact with them, the initial greeting with them, is mainly how they're going to respond back to you.
So you went through Minnesota,
Went through Minnesota. Yes, absolutely.
Minneapolis.
I don't think Minneapolis. I rode through the southern part of Minnesota where 90 carries you. I went to I don't remember the city I stopped in Minnesota, but I stayed in Minnesota that night. Um, each state has its own story, right?
Right.
Each state has its own story. So in Minnesota, I thought I was getting abducted by aliens.
Why
Okay.
is that? Why is that?
Yeah. So so I had so I'm riding on 90. And when I get on 90, 90 is extremely dark at night, right?
No lights,
When
no
you
lights, no lights.
no lights at all, not even a little bit. So it was so dark that I couldn't even see the other side of 90, the eastbound side. I couldn't see the road. So the only thing that I could see was pitch black. I couldn't tell where the sky and the sky and the land connect, like the horizon. You can't see
Right.
that. So all I could see was my lights, my bike, and the road maybe 50 yards in front of me. Okay. So I look out to the left and I saw a red dot flash. Now, when I saw the red dot flash, it wasn't just one, it was about 100 of them. Right. I looked to the right. Then I looked on my GPS. I was like, man, there's an airport around here. So there was no airport. I looked to the right, red dot flash. Dang, man, the airport crossed the highway. That's weird, right? So then I'm driving straight ahead, and I noticed that the red dots are flashing simultaneously on both sides of the highway. Hundreds of them at the same time. Normally, when you see the blinkers like they're flashing like this, that means like it's a high tower out there, or maybe it's some electrical wiring that the planes are notified by. So it scared me so bad, I thought ET was coming back. I'm not even gonna lie, right? So
So
I pull off to the side of the road. I'm sorry, I pull off to the next exit, got in my hotel. I was like, man, I don't know what this is out here. Let me get out of here. I wake up the next morning, get back on the highway. I had never seen a field full of wind turbines, and they all flashed simultaneously at the same time. But it looked very alien-esque. It looked like something was coming down on me.
did you take any pictures?
I didn't take pictures because I was scared at that night. So I didn't take pictures of
you
that.
Thought, you thought you were going to be abducted by aliens.
Exactly. Right? I thought they were coming. I was like, and I believe that there's some other life form out there besides us. But I thought they were in Minnesota that night. So
this was in Minnesota.
This was in Minnesota. So
wow.
when I see that, I saw the airfield. So I took a picture of the wind turbines because I had never seen that before. So that was pretty cool there. So
that's your memory of Minnesota. Interesting.
That's my memory of Minnesota. Yeah.
Wow, the wind turbines.
Wind turbines.
At least we know that Minnesota is environmentally conscious. So that's
absolutely. There's a few other states that's environmentally conscious, but that was the first one I was exposed to. I had never seen that before. And that was really weird. But
did you keep a journal as to what you saw, what you experienced? Did you write stuff down?
The whole time. I have
several
everything.
Pages?
I have everything. I probably have a half a book of notes that I wrote in, feelings that I was feeling that day. It was important to me to capture everything that I felt during the course of the journey. It was important to me to chronicleize it. Just a little side note, Alzheimer's runs in my family. So I am scared to death that I might catch it, or I shouldn't say catch it, get it. And so it's important to me to take, you should see my photos in my phone, or man, I probably got thousands of pictures, and my journal to write it down so I could read it back to myself and remember what I had accomplished as a young man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the thought of having Alzheimer's in your family is kind of like an impetus or a push to be able to just accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish at an age where you can remember everything. That's pretty fun. What other states kind of stuck out to you? Because as we know, there are 50 states, but in the continental United States, we have what, 48? Is that what
48.
it is?
Correct.
48.
I went through 37 of them. On this journey, I went through 37 of them. And the second state that stood out, this was the main state, was Maine. Maine was the state that stood out to me. I had
it's a beautiful state. I've been there. It's a beautiful state.
It really is. It's very, southern Maine is very beautiful and very 21st century-ish. When you get to northern Maine, it's more like the 20th century, like the 1950s. It's very desolate up there, very nature-oriented.
Lots of trees.
Lots of trees. So I got to Maine, and I'm riding on 95. I have a picture of this too. And I'm riding, and I see, man, it's nobody in front of me. Wow, it's 6:00 in the afternoon. I look behind me, nobody's behind me. I stopped and took a picture on 95 during what is considered rush hour traffic, and posed and did a small photo shoot on 95. You should see it. It's the craziest thing ever.
Empty? Empty?
Empty. It was empty. It looked like something in a scary movie. It looked like I Am Legend or The Devil's Advocate when Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. It was crazy when you look down the street and you see nobody on it. So
what is that? Did you ask anyone, or is it because of COVID?
No, it's just because I was so far north that people are not on the roads up there. They're just not on the roads up there. The only thing that you see up there are log cabins and people who are from that area. You very rarely get visitors up there. That's not a tourist destination except for Four Corners, but that's for bikers. But that everybody doesn't do Four Corners every day. So
please, because I tend to use these interviews as academic tools for my students. Please describe what are Four Corners.
Four Corners is when you ride to all four corners of the country, the furthest cities in each corner. So you have Key West, Florida, Madawaska.
That's one corner.
That's one corner. That's the southeast corner. The northeast corner is Madawaska, Maine. The northwest corner is Blaine, Washington.
Washington.
And then the southwest corner is San Ysidro, California.
California. Now, please forgive my geography. I thought Vermont was north of Maine.
No, Maine is the furthest state north in this country. Vermont and New Hampshire are side by side to each other. And
the Vermont does not border Canada?
It does, but it's a little. Vermont is southwest of Maine.
Okay.
New Hampshire is southwest of Maine, and then actually New Hampshire is right below Maine, and then you have Massachusetts.
Okay. All right. So you did the four corners, which is why, for my students who are going to see this, which is why you did not do all 48, because the middle states, right, middle America, right, you did not ride through.
I did not ride through. So states like
Kentucky,
Tennessee, Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Arkansas,
Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado, North Dakota. I missed that one.
Right.
Just so those types of states.
Yeah. So essentially, you did like kind of like the perimeter of the country.
Correct.
Awesome. So you have notes on 37 states out of 50.
Correct. And I have a picture by me with each sign. I'm so proud of that.
That's awesome. So you have 37 state pictures.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
What's the thing I was about to say? I missed two of them. Illinois, I missed that one. I was sightseeing, to be honest with you. I was so shocked to be close to Chicago. I was ready to get the pizza. And when I got to
I remember coal-fired pizza.
Yeah. And southbound on 5, I was coming from Washington State to Oregon, and it's a bridge that you have to cross, and the line is on the bridge, and it did not have a pullover side, like
an indication.
Right. Yeah, it didn't have an indication. It didn't have a place where you, if you got in trouble, you could pull over. Everybody had to keep going. So I couldn't stop traffic on there. But yeah, I caught every other state other than those two.
Now, talk to us about the method and the process. Did you pace yourself? Did you say, okay, I'm going to ride for 8 hours a day? Did you make it a point? Did you make it a point to sleep in every state, or were there states that you just kind of drove through? Did you make it a point to eat in every state?
So the plan was to ride 800 miles every day. Okay. 800 miles is
how long does that take?
Take you about 12 to 13 hours.
So you did 12-hour cycles and then stopped?
And then stopped. So my plan was, this was the plan, okay? Now, how it happened is not what happened, right? So the first day, so the plan was to do 800 miles. I could do 400 miles in the morning and 400 miles in the afternoon, right? That was the plan. So 400 miles takes you about 5 or 6 hours, right? So I figure I get up 3 a.m., ride till about maybe 9 a.m., 10 a.m., shut it down in that city and enjoy wherever I'm at. And then around 4 o'clock, I get back on the road and be to where my next destination about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, right? Then I shut it down for the night again. But that didn't happen, right? So what happened was my first day, I rode over 1,000 miles, right? I rode over 1,000 miles. I was in the mood. I was excited. Man, I just kept going. I couldn't stop.
So you started off, talk to us about where you started off very specifically. You started off in the Keys.
I started off in the Keys, rode all the way up to Virginia, got to Southern Virginia.
Okay, so you rode, and that took you, you said what, 10 hours?
No, that took me a little more than that because I did 1,000 miles. So that I was on the road all day on that one. So now I don't even remember what time I started, but I know I got to my destination around 10 o'clock that night, and I started early that morning.
Okay. And what did you normally do during your stops? Did you look for a hotel, or did you just kind of sleep on your bike?
No, I am part of a motorcycle club, so we have friends all around the country, right?
Okay. Now this is important. Okay, so talk to us about the motorcycle club, because I know nothing about motorcycles. I know nothing about motorcycle clubs, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm interested in getting to know this world of motorcycle people.
Well, motorcycle clubs are all over the country. You know, they are every club is different. Every club has different intentions. I ride for the only all-black motorcycle club in the world, right? So that's
All
everybody.
Black Motorcycle Club in the world. What is the name of this club?
The name of the club is called Outcast.
Outcast. What a name.
Mm-hmm.
Outcast. Yeah. The only
all black
motorcycle club in the world.
Right.
All Black Motorcycle Club in the world. That sounds exciting. How long have they been around?
50 years.
Really?
Yeah, over 50 years.
And this is a club that has chapters everywhere. All over the world?
All over the country. All over the country.
All over the country, not all over the world. Like right. You can't really go to Brazil or go to Zimbabwe and look for a motorcycle club. The black, like the Outcast. Okay, right. So this. Well,
there are clubs that are around the world, but it's just the one that I'm in is more nation. We're here in the United States.
Okay.
But I have brothers everywhere, and being a Mason, I have brothers everywhere, right? So having a place to stay was not a problem. All of my family is on the East Coast. The only really time I had a problem staying somewhere was when I got out to Minnesota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Washington. And then once I got to Washington, I was good. I had a place to stay out there too. So that's as far as, right. So I got to Virginia, that was day one. I stayed with my dad and spent the whole time with him. Best time I had in a long time with my dad, man. We sat there and my dad likes tobacco pipe. So I like tobacco pipe too. So we both smoked our tobacco pipe. We had Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest is a whiskey made by an all-black family. Jack Daniels stole the recipe from Uncle Nearest. So when his family basically sued Jack Daniels, they awarded them to be able to have their own liquor. So I drink.
Please go over that again. You okay. Uncle Nearest and Black, because Jack Daniels is pretty popular. So yeah, go over that again.
So Jack Daniels is the recipe is known out of Tennessee, and basically Jack Daniels was the owner of the company. He had a gentleman by the name of Uncle Nearest make the recipe for him. But because at that time, they were not going to give an African-American credit for making probably the most popular whiskey in the history of America, right? Okay. I don't know another whiskey more popular than Jack Daniels. So what happened was his family basically went to court and fought against this, and they wanted him to have royalties based upon all of the Jack Daniels sales. And make a long story short, they were awarded their own liquor, and they named the liquor Uncle Nearest. It's a smooth whiskey that tastes better than Jack Daniels to me, but it was another recipe that Uncle Nearest had made. So that's why I drink Uncle Nearest. So I am definitely a very pro-black, try to support my community right. as best possible.
So Uncle Nearest and Jack Daniels are not the same recipes.
No.
But you're saying that the recipe for Jack Daniels came from Uncle Nearest.
Absolutely.
Is this documented anywhere?
Just Google Uncle Nearest. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow. But there is a whiskey out there called Uncle Nearest, which is obviously not as popular as Jack Daniels.
No, it's not nowhere near.
This is where we can have a different conversation about branding and marketing.
Absolutely.
But it's still up and running certain places.
Everywhere. You can buy Uncle Nearest at any ABC liquor store, I shouldn't say any ABC liquor store, but any Total Wine and Food. Generally, you're not going to have that at your local liquor store. Very rarely do you have it there, but you have to go to Total Wines, more of the bigger liquor distributors, and they will have it.
Hey, so you want to talk about Think Big? Because this is something we've talked about over the years. We can actually have a conversation with them and help promote them to be able to put them on a platform just like Jack Daniels, right?
Listen, that would be ideal. That would be ideal.
Conversation for another day, but it's definitely a possibility we can have. I have it written down.
Absolutely. So I get to so now me and my dad drinking Uncle Nearest, smoking out tobacco, and watching the Three Stooges. Best man, I never laughed so hard with my dad in my life. So
Now,
now
now, what about the rest of your family? They're out there in Virginia.
they're scattered all over. My brother's in Maryland. My dad's in Maryland. So this was the next day. I
Okay.
stayed with my lifelong buddy. Man, I've been knowing this guy since I was 6 years old,
Hmm.
and he had a feast for me when I came there. Oh my God!
Where is that?
He's in Virginia. I don't even remember the city, to be honest with you, but he's somewhere in Virginia, like right around Richmond area,
All
just
right, so
north
you
of
stayed.
Richmond.
So you stayed in Virginia for quite some. And how many nights you stayed with your
Just
dad?
one. I just
Okay.
stayed with him for one night. I got on the road the next day. Stayed with went to my dad's house in Maryland, and then I hung out at a couple Harley stores. That was different there too. Just going to different Harley stores, and then, like I said, I hung with my dad. That was the most important part of the first 2 days to me, because I don't get to see my pops too often because I live in Miami and he's in Maryland. So
How old is your dad?
66 or 67, he's somewhere
Y-
in that ballpark.
Young guy. And considering that we are in the COVID era, is he taking care of himself? Is he safe?
Absolutely, he's definitely a advocate for social distancing and staying at home. Matter of fact, he got so bored he started a greenhouse in his backyard, and he's growing all of his own vegetables. I mean, he has a whole thing back there: cabbage and lettuce and cucumbers and all kinds of tomatoes, all kinds of stuff he has back there. Peas, kale, watermelon. He has all kinds of stuff back there.
And he lives alone?
No, my with his wife, my stepmom, and his children, and my brothers and sisters, I should say.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 8. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
One that
awesome.
one that passed. Yeah, one that passed. It's a total of 8 of us.
Okay,
So
sorry to hear that.
it's
Okay,
okay.
so that's awesome. So you got to spend some time with dad, and then after that, you got to see your long of school friend or your long
Mm-hmm.
age friend, and then after Maryland, where did you go on to that after that?
I rode to well, this is where it got interesting. I got to Massachusetts and my throttle on my bike went out. So I opened up the ignition component and I look inside and the whole throttle cable was off, like literally. So I'm like, man, oh man, this is gonna be rough.
This
Make
is
a
this is
long
while you're riding, or this is
While I
when you're
was
not riding?
riding, I was doing about 78. I had it set on cruise control. Out of nowhere, the bike loses power. I have to cross 5 lanes and can't throttle. That is extremely dangerous. Slowing down and cars are doing 70, 80, and you're going slower than them. That's a very dangerous situation. So I
Wait a
basically
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're telling me during this 3-week adventure, you could have possibly lost your life?
a couple times. There's a couple times it could have happened. But yeah, definitely. When I pulled over, so I forgot to tell one little caveat. My friend that I stayed with, he is with a club called Throttle Rockers.
Uh,
Okay. And him and 4 of his other brothers want to
Throttle
ride.
Rockers. That's a bike club.
That's a bike club out of
Right.
Virginia.
Right. If you
And
don't,
they,
see my screen, keep on talking, please continue.
okay.
Yeah.
And he wanted to ride with me to Maine.
Mhm.
So I have them riding with me from Virginia or from Maryland all the way up to Maine.
Mhm.
So when we get till about Boston, everything's going smooth. We're riding, everything's going good. The throttle goes out. When the throttle goes out, I have to pull over on the side of the road, and when I get there, it starts right back up again. So it gives me gas like it's working. So I get back on the bike, I start it, and it goes right back down again, about another 1,000 yards down the road. So now this is when we pull it off and see that the sensor was disconnected from the throttle. So basically, in layman's term, on the motorcycle, you throttle like this. That's the gas right there. Well, when you do like this and it doesn't move, it's basically like you hitting the gas pedal on a car and the car doesn't move. So that's what happened there. And then
So are you the person doing the reparations, or are you bringing it into a shop?
I'm bringing it into a shop.
Okay.
So now I have to call. I call to get a tow truck guy. The guy takes me to a shop called Monty's Harley. Oh man, this is funny. So
Okay.
Monty's Harley is a very small shop, very small. I mean, couldn't have been no more than 5,000 square feet, right? A Harley Davidson, had 3 bikes in there. The general manager is the one who worked on my bike, right?
Wow.
So that's how, just to let you know how small the shop is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and he fixes the bike, man. I get back on the road. I get till about Boston. I was about maybe 30 minutes south of Boston. And now he fixes the bike. It's about 8 o'clock. I get into the Boston Bridge. It's around maybe 9, 10 o'clock. And the bike breaks down again. Same problem. So what happened was the bike didn't break down. It was the wiring harness behind the cluster that made it so that that when they touch, it's called a limp mode. When the bike can't go over 2,000 RPMs, it's called limp mode. It protects itself from if it doesn't recognize anything. So it was basically a wiring problem. So the bike shut down, but I didn't know this at the time, right? All I thought was that the throttle went out again. Man, I'm heated right now. Sure. Now I'm stuck in the Boston Tunnel. And I call, because I know in tunnels, just from experience, I know in tunnels, if you call the police, they'll bring a tow truck out immediately in a tunnel, right? So they want the traffic to flow through there and not get backed up. So I call 911. The tow truck people come out. The tow truck lady gets my bike on the truck. I'm thanking her. I'm all happy. And I said, ma'am, Harley Davidson is only 8 miles away. Can you just take me to the Harley Davidson? I'll tip you and we'll go from there. Well, in Boston, their tow companies only move you out the tunnel. So she literally put my bike on a tow truck to move me 1,000 yards. Oh my God, I was, I can't say the language that I was saying to this lady on the Broward social network, but me and her was going at it. Man, you're not going to take me. And she wouldn't let me in the cab, right? I had my mask on, right? Because I'm conscious of what's going on. Had my mask on. She would not let me in the cab. And she wanted to tow my bike. I said, man, there's no way I'm going to let you take my bike. What am I supposed to do? She told me I can Uber. I said, Uber in the tunnel? How do you catch an Uber in the tunnel? What address do you give them in the tunnel, right? Like, hey, where do you pick me up at? I don't know, man. Don't even get me started. So the police are now coming up. They see me and the lady going at it. And they say, sir, this was my first encounter with the police. They say, sir, you are, you can't get in the cab with the lady. They're going to tell you to get the bike out of the tunnel. I said, well, why do you guys have my bike up here? What kind of nonsense is this? You got my bike on the tow truck and you're going to tell me 1,000 yards in the Harley Davidson is literally 8 miles down that road, like that way? Yes, sir. I said, well, how am I supposed to get out the tunnel then? They said, you can ride with me. All right. So you got my bike on the truck. I get in the police car. I go to get in the front door. The guy says, no. Get in the back. I'm sitting in the back of a police car. For those of you who do not know, it is a hard seat and it's a dip and it's designed to be small and cramped so you don't have any room to do anything. I can't believe I'm in the back of a police car. So I'm in the back of a police car. I ride 1,000 yards. I get out. He opens the door for me. I get out. The lady says, have a great night. I told the lady basically a few choice words, and then my bike is sitting now on the side of the road. Okay.
Out of the tunnel in Boston.
In Boston, 1,400 miles away from home.
In the hot sun.
No, this is at night, 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
At night. I'm downtown Boston. So now I said, you know what? I need to get on the phone with my insurance company because I have roadside assistance.
Right.
So I called
By
the
the way,
insurance.
did you use them the first time?
No, no. I was close to a Harley store that I knew the GM, so I didn't have to use it the first time.
Okay, so the GM came and got you.
He sent the tow truck for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm in Boston, and I am I'm sitting there, and I had to calm down first because I couldn't believe she towed my bike 1,000 yards. That just bothered me.
Right.
So I called, get on the phone to the insurance company. I said, yes, this is Mr. Ealey. Just wanted to confirm that I have roadside assistance. Yes, Mr. Ealey, you have roadside assistance. Great. Can you send me to the claims department so that I can file a claim so you guys can come get me? I am on X, Y, and Z street between such and such and such and such. So they say, yes, no problem. They transfer me to the claims department. The claims department cannot find my account. Now, at this time, it's about 11 o'clock. So they say, don't worry about it, Mr. Ealey. We'll take care of you. When they say take care of me, I'm thinking, okay, they'll see, they'll call over to customer service. I get to the end of the transaction. It's now about 11:30, quarter to 12. Get rid of it. She says, that'll be $162. I said, ma'am, I pay for insurance. Why am I doing this? Why am I paying you guys when I have insurance? So she says, well, you have to pay because I don't see your account. I said, well, ma'am, all you have to do is call back the customer service. Customer service will verify that I have roadside assistance. I can't do that. I get even more hot. Oh my God. I got so upset at this time that I was getting calm. Like, have you ever got so mad you got calm?
Right.
So I'm fuming. So
you don't lose your mind.
Yeah, so I don't lose. I was like, man, I think I'm being pranked in Massachusetts. Worst state. I couldn't stand it. So I get on the phone. With her supervisor. Supervisor tells me the same thing. I said, my man, call me back in 10 minutes. I'm going to call customer service. He says, I'm about to get off work. I'm not going to call you back. This is what the guy tells me. So I said, sir, can you do me a favor? It's 11:30, quarter to 12 at night. I'm 1,400 miles away from home. I'm going to have to sleep beside my bike because there's no way I'm leaving this bike here by itself. So he says, all right, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. I give him my number. I call back to customer service. I said, customer service, can you guys can you do a 3-way call with claims so that they can see that I have insurance, roadside assistance, so I don't have to pay this $162. The lady says, no, I can't do that. What? I have, what's the name of my insurance company? National General, I think it was.
But this is not AAA.
This is not AAA. No. This is National General Insurance Roadside Assistance Program. So
we're going to have to think about whether or not we're going to continue with them.
Listen, I've already changed that when I got back home. That's done. That's done already. That's done. That's done. That's done. That happened during work on the 21st when I got back.
Quick.
Yeah. So
not reliable.
Not even close. You're not going to stick me like that. So I paid the $162. Make a long story short.
So you had to pay it.
I had to pay it.
But you can get that. But you can get that reimbursed. Okay.
Yeah, I got it reimbursed.
What was the mix-up? Did you find out?
I never found out. I never gave him time to. When I got back, I canceled it because of X, Y, Z. So now the tow truck guy comes, right? So I asked him, I said, my man, listen, I don't know how Boston works, but if you put my bike, I got 2 questions for you before you put my bike on that trailer. Are you going to tow me to the Harley Davidson? He says, yes, I am. All right, check. Because the last lady wasn't going to tow me. Right. I said, are you going to let me ride in that cab? Right? Because I'm not going to leave this bike here. You take it, and I don't know where I'm at. Right. So he says, I'm not supposed to, but I'll let you ride with me. All right, cool.
Well, what would be the other option?
They wanted me to Uber. They wanted me to catch an Uber, and the Uber followed the tow truck guy to the Harley Davidson.
Crazy. Never even heard of that.
Never heard of it. Only in Boston.
Only in Boston.
So I get to. So now I get to the Harley Davidson.
What time?
it's about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So now, let's just use 1 o'clock. So I'm there at I drop the bike off. When I get to the Harley store, the bike is working absolutely fine. It turns on, it's revving, it's no problem. I'm riding it around the parking lot, but I'm scared to head to Maine because if it happens again, I'm gonna have to go through the tow truck. So I said, man, listen, I'm gonna leave the bike here at the Harley store. I know they're gonna tell me that we can't fix a problem if there is no problem.
Right.
So I leave the bike at the Harley store. So now the tow truck guy, I look and see online a hotel. The hotel was literally going right by the way that the tow truck driver was going. I said, hey, my man, can you just drop me off? Like, the hotel is 4 miles that way. It's back the way you came.
Nope.
He was like, no. Man, I thought, I'm telling you, man, I was so upset. When I say so upset, I was so upset. So
did you wind up Ubering?
So I Uber. Now that's another story, because it was now about 1:30 in the morning when he got the bike off, 1:20, 1:30. The Uber comes at around 2:15 because there's nobody in that area. Like, I click on Uber, there's no cars in the area.
Everybody's sleeping.
Everybody's sleeping. I was like, nobody Ubers in Boston? This is a major city. Like, I couldn't fathom that.
Right.
So Uber finally gets there. The Uber car, he came in a van and it looked like a quarantine bubble. Everything inside the van was plastic wrap. It looked like I walked into like a testing site for some type of vaccine that they about to try on
medical procedure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it looked crazy in there. So I was like, all right, my man taking this very serious. So
right.
I put my mask on, put my bag in. I leave the bike at Harley. I get to the hotel. Now, when I looked online, remember I told you the hotel was $89.
Right.
So I didn't book the hotel because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, they don't literally like to book online. They want you to come that day before, you know, around 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that. Right. So I get to the hotel. The lady tells me that the hotel is $140 a night. I said, ma'am, online, I just saw it was $89. I tell her the entire story of what just happened. What we just talked about, I told her the story.
Right.
She got me the room for $90, including tax. I was like, ma'am, thank you so much. Right. I got in that room and laid down and just
prayed to the heavens. Prayed to the heavens.
God. I wrote down everything. Everything is in the journal. That's what because I was writing and I was mad.
Right.
And you know how when you're a little mad, you write a little faster.
Right.
And it looks a little bit more. The writing looks a little bit crazier.
Right.
I was writing. So that happened. So basically now, my buddies that were riding with me, they stayed at another hotel. Right?
Oh, so you didn't do this alone?
No, I did do it alone, but just from Virginia to Maine, they wanted to ride with me.
Okay.
So they went to a hotel. I called them, they didn't answer. So in the morning time, I said, man, I'm gonna just get up and go to the to the Harley store and get the bike. I get to the Harley store, everything went cool. 12 p.m. Okay, 12 p.m. I want you to, that number is very important right there, 12 p.m. Okay? I think it's Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday. So 12 p.m. Wednesday. So now I'm headed to Maine. Okay, I'm headed to Maine. I'm leaving out of 95. I head up. I get to this place called Dave's Lobster. Oh my God, Dave's Lobster. I wanted to eat lobster in Maine. That was on the bucket list to do. Check. Amazing. The lobster was so amazing.
Dave's as in D-A-V-E-S?
No, D-A-Y''S.
Dave's Lobster.
And I found it.
Super delicious.
I found it by just coincidentally stopping. I was like, man, I'm not tired, but I should just take a little break right here. Let me get off on this exit. And it was a restaurant that had been there for over 40 years or something like that. They go out and catch the lobster daily and they bring it back to the store and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Right, because they're right there on the coast.
They right there on the coast,
Fresh.
right?
Mhm.
Fresh, like that. The lobster I had was fresh out the ocean. That was crazy.
Fresh.
So they boiled it. I ate it. Man, I was in awe. The butter
In
was
heaven.
good. Crab cakes was good. Food was amazing. Days crab meat and lobster. If you ever go to Maine, please go there.
Days crab. I'm putting it down. Days crab meat and lobster.
Days crab meat and lobster. Yes. So now at Days crab meat, I paid with my credit card, and I had to give them my driver's license.
Okay.
So I had to give them my driver's license for the utensils. When they wanted to, people kept taking the utensils, so they keep your driver's license. And when you turn the utensils in, they give you your driver's license back. All right, cool, no problem.
What?
That was the thing at their restaurant. I get it. I understand. So I gave them my driver's license.
Never heard of that. I've never ever heard of that.
I've never heard of it either.
But I mean, so if you don't give them your license, you eat with your hands?
Yeah, you eat with your hands. Yeah, you make out best do, right? So,
how about plastic utensils?
The lobster utensils were different. You needed a cracker, like that cracker, and that little needle thing that you get the lobster out in. Right. Anyway, I leave Dave's Lobster. I'm headed to Madawaska. Now 2 things happen major in Maine. 2 things major. Okay. Now remember I told you it's around 6 o'clock now. That was around 4 o'clock at Days. Okay. It's around 6 o'clock now. I get to an intersect. No, I'm sorry. I'm on 95, and I see a sign that says scenic tour. So I go up on the scenic tour. Now, I'm gonna pause the story for a second and say something. I'm a little religious. I believe in God. I believe that Jesus is coming back. I believe these things. This is my personal religious beliefs. Okay?
So you're about to tell me about you received a sign.
Yeah, I had a spiritual experience right here. So
okay.
So I get I believe that. So now in the Bible, in New Revelations, in the New Testament, I should say, the devil asked God if he can petition Jesus to tempt him. Right? So the devil and Jesus are on this mountaintop. They're looking over the entire world, and the devil basically say, "Hey, Jesus, listen, I give you all of this in the world, everything in here, all of the money, all of the stuff you want, all of the land. You just have to forsake your father." Right? And Jesus basically tell him, man, get out of here with that. I'm not about to do that. Now, when I went up back to the story, when I went up on the scenic route, where I was standing, it felt like immediately where devil and Jesus had this conversation at. When I looked out over this view, Ted, the view was it hit me so spiritual, so quick. I thought of that story. I looked out, I saw land and lakes and trees. I could see for miles and miles and miles. It was up so high and it was so clear. I have pictures of it. I had a conversation with God right there. Like now, normally most people pray, right? And prayer is generally a one-sided conversation, right? It's like you talking to God and him listening. No. I had a conversation. A conversation means you have a dialogue with
an exchange.
You go
where
back
the Lord spoke to you. This is in Maine.
Yeah, this is in Maine.
Okay, so what did the Lord say?
I'm curious. Not gonna go into that. I'm not gonna go into that. All right, but he talked to me, right? He talked to me, and people think I be tripping when I say that. So now I've been on the road now about 6 hours, body getting a little fatigued. I drive a little further. So in Maine, the misconception is that most people think that 95 runs right to the top. It does not. It splits off into Route 1, which you can go Canada side, or it takes Route 2 and Route 11, which will take you through the woodsy side, like the desolate side, like the 1950s side. So the Route 2 and Route 11 side is a lot faster than taking the Route 1. So, but it's a lot more dangerous because you're riding down the highway where there's literally a car can go 2 or 3 hours and not be around there. So you'll have animals walking all across the street and jump out at any given time. any
Like
given time.
deer, like just deer
Deer,
or
moose, possum, raccoon. First time I saw a beaver in my life, in my
wow.
own two eyes, outside of Animal Planet and the zoo. Uh, you know, outside of Animal Planet and the zoo.
Oh
That's
my God.
the
Beaver
first
was
time I
probably looking at you like, okay, what is this?
exactly. So now, this is the second story that comes. You ever seen the movie Get Out?
Yes.
All right. So
This
keep
is
this.
this is the movie where the guy is kind of trapped in his body
Yep.
in a white family.
They
And
hypnotize them and they take their brains out and they put the white people's brains so they can have their body, but the black people are still stuck in their subconscious so they can
right,
see everything.
right.
All right. So now,
You're scaring me. You're scaring.
now listen, this is funny. So I'm riding two. I take two. And when you get to two, you have to go to 212, and then 212 will take you to Route 11.
Hmm.
At the intersection of 212 and Route 11, there's a Shell gas station.
Okay.
They have 4 pumps, pump 1, 2, 3, and 4. I pull in on pump 1.
Okay.
Now, when I look, I was like, man, I need to just gas and go because this just does not look like somewhere I need to be. Right? I'm in
Oh my
Maine.
God.
Right?
You are a million times more brave than me because I would have just kind of basically called somebody to like helicopter my behind out of there.
So I get to Maine. When I get to Maine, so I'm sorry, I'm at the gas station. So I get off the bike, I pump the gas first, but now I'm thirsty. So I go inside. I say, man, let me hydrate real quick. I go inside. Now, when I get off, it's 2 middle-aged white ladies looking at me from the glass window of the gas station, and they're looking like this. They have like this dead stare. So I'm like, okay, I notice it. I don't pay any attention to it. Both of them are doing it now. It's 2 of them. I go in now. When I'm walking to the door, is a police car and a pickup truck. They're parked like this so they can see each other, where the 2 driver sides are facing each other, right?
Right.
So I go inside. The ladies were so happy, like they changed, their mood changed just like that. Hi, how you doing? Oh my God, you're going to Madawaska? Oh man, we'll see you from Florida. Oh my God, listen, you can have anything in the store. What? When you ever walked in a gas station and somebody told you that?
Wait, these are the same 2 ladies that were looking at you with the
With the
blank
death
stare?
stare. Yes, same 2 ladies.
So, but when you walked inside, they just
They
changed their
immediately
tune?
they changed their tune immediately. So they said you can have anything in the store. So I'm like, what? Okay. I grabbed that bottle of water. I grabbed some peanuts. Right? I was like, man, I might get a little hungry. Peanut, my favorite snack on the road to kill when I'm really hungry, to knock the edge
That
off.
sounds kind of suspect when they say that you can have anything in the store.
Exactly.
With the
You see where
cops
I'm
on the
going?
outside? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't. So I pull out money to give them. They say, no, don't worry about it. You're doing the 4 corners. I was like, how do they know this? I was like, okay, no problem. They know I'm going to 4 corners. So it's obviously if I'm from Florida, I'm heading up there, right? So now I leave out. They're back at the window with the death stare again, right? They're back at the window with the death stare. I see it. I wave. They don't wave back, right? So now the pickup truck that was
You're giving
beside
me goosebumps.
yeah, the pickup truck that was beside the police car is now on pump 2. So he's right beside me, like literally right beside me. So I get on pump. Before I'm about to swing my leg over, before I do that, he says, hey, buddy, hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, you're going to Madawaska, right? Man, I'm just out riding. You don't really tell your location when you're doing that, right? I'm just out riding.
Especially with people you don't know.
Yeah, especially people you don't know. So yeah, I'm just out riding, man. So he says, listen, some of your buddies came up here about 3 weeks ago, and I invited them to a barbecue and they didn't come. I was like, I can understand that, man. You know, I get that. You know, I'm trying to be like calm, right? So the guy says, he says, man, I know
I
this
can
sounds
understand that.
yeah. He says, I know this sounds weird and I know this sounds strange, but you're headed to Madawaska, right? I said, yeah. He says, it's about 7 o'clock right now. I said, yeah, it is. He says, why don't you come to my house, spend the night, I'm going to cook dinner for you, and you get up and you leave the head to Madawaska in the morning. That's what this man says to me. Knows me from a can of paint.
Okay.
Right?
What did you do?
So let's pause. So now the police officer comes over. Police officer says, in this tone, he goes just like this. He's the town doctor. He's okay. And walks off. Right? The police officer does that.
Now, pardon me, social media land, okay? Because I have thousands of followers. And I have to ask this question. I wouldn't be authentic. I wouldn't be myself if I didn't ask this question. These are all white people, right?
All white people. All white people. All white people.
Right.
So now,
because I want to know what's going through your head.
when the cop says he's all right, he's the town doctor, first thing came to my head was Get Out. Right?
Yes, the movie.
Right, the movie. First thing he had was Get Out.
He's gonna take your brain out. He knows how to take your brain out.
Yes. So the first thing. So then, at the beginning of the interview, what did I say the reason for doing this trip was? Doing things I wouldn't normally do,
right,
and experiencing things that I normally wouldn't experience.
Right.
So I said, let's go. Right? The guy says, come on. My house is the first right, 10 houses up on the left. I go to this man's house, Ted, right? Massive. Oh my God, massive house. When I say massive, this house was absolutely amazing. So now when he pulls up, we pull into the driveway. He had a driveway that circled the whole house. Mm-hmm. He pulls up and blocks my bike. I pull up again. He blocks the bike. I said, listen, man, don't block my bike, right? Don't block my bike. Because I had no intention of getting off. I just wanted to see the house, right? He says, come on in. I'm going to cook dinner. I get off the bike. I now, at the Shell gas station, I had my firearm with me, right? I carried with me, right? So I put one in the head. I took the safety off. I put it in my back, okay? So I got it in my pants, tucked in my back.
Just in case.
Just in case anything go crazy in here, I'm going to blow his head clean off his shoulders. So I go in the house. He takes me upstairs. Nice house, all rooms. He shows me the laundry chute that goes down to the basement. I go downstairs. He shows me the middle part. Nice house. When I say nice house, it was really nice house. He says, come on, let's go in the basement. I paused for a second. I said, all right, you go down first. So he goes down the stairs. He goes down the stairs to the basement. I'm sitting there and he says, he's showing me everything in the house. I'm looking under the steps. If anybody jump out, if he say boo, anything like that, I'm listening for weird noises. My alert level is on high right now.
You're ready. You're ready.
Yeah, I'm alert. And the whole time my hands are behind my back.
Right.
And I'm ready. I got my hand on my grip and I'm ready to pull it if anything pop off. Right. So nothing happens. I go back upstairs. It's two more white people sitting in the kitchen. Now we just took a tour of the house. There was nobody in there. We was downstairs for maybe 3 minutes, come back up. It's two more white people sitting in the kitchen. It's the owner of the house and her husband. He was renting the house from them. The guy that I was with, his name was Keith. Okay. He was renting the house from them. So I was like, you guys just let them walk in.
Where's his family? Where's his wife and kids?
He was a doctor from there. He had just moved in. It looked like he had just moved in too, right? Okay. So his wife was in Maine, not Maine, in Boston. Well, this is what he was telling me. His kids were all grown, and he had just got there, right? Okay. So the landlord comes in, and she's looking at me awkward for like 10 seconds. I'm looking at her like, who are you and why are you in here? She's looking at me like, you're in my state. That's how she looked at me, like, you don't belong here. Right. So we make friends, and to break the ice, every time I try to break the ice, I smile, right? So I smile hard too. I go, how you doing? Yeah, I'm like, how you doing? Like I'm smiling hard.
Right.
And so she started breaking down and we went forward. So now we go, they're standing back on the porch. I said, guys, I gotta go, man. It's almost 8 o'clock. I got to get to Madawaska. I got another 2-hour ride. So they're all standing on the porch watching me gear up. They're doing the same death stare that the two ladies was doing at the gas station.
This is 8 o'clock at night.
This is 8 o'clock at night.
So you didn't eat dinner and decide to stay.
Hold on, listen. So I said, no, I did not eat dinner. So Keith jumps off the porch and says, hey, I'm gonna cook dinner. When you get to Madawaska, you come on back. I'll have dinner ready. You're gonna come back, right? Absolutely. I'm gonna come back, Keith. I'm tired. Madawaska is another 2 hours from where I'm at. I'm gonna come back, no question. I'm gonna take your number down. I'm gonna call you when I get there. I go to Four Corners. Nice experience. So excited. I hit my second point, right? The Key West trip is my backyard, so it was really nothing major to me about Key West. Go there, take a picture by the buoy, and I left. It was nothing major to do there. So and at this time, pause story for a second. I had no plan on documenting it, right? So fast forward back to Madawaska. So I'm in Four Corners Monument. I'm all excited. Second point, man, I'm so excited. I get there. I'm tired now. I'm coming back to go get a hotel because I couldn't ride back 2 hours to Keith's house, right? So I get a hotel. They saw my Florida tag. They wouldn't let me get a room because they thought I had COVID, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they would not give me a room. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but they wouldn't give me a room. The second hotel I get to, they would give me the room, but my crazy self left my driver's license at Dave's Lobster Crab Meeting, Dave's Crab Meat Lobster. So the driver's license is sitting right there by the cash register at Dave's Crab Meat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So now I'm riding back down. I get to the intersection of Keith's house and three things happen. Okay. First.
What time of this? This is like what, midnight?
This is 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Three things happen. Three things. And I'm gonna ask you, you see which three things you think I did. A, I went to Keith's house, I ate dinner, I got up in the morning and he made waffles, sausage, and eggs. 2, I slept on my motorcycle. 3, I went back to Boston that night. Which one you think I did?
Number one.
Man, I went back to Boston. It wasn't nowhere in the world I was going back in Keith's house no more. It's not going to get me today, buddy. You're not going to get me today.
You left Keith stranded?
I left that house. I rode from 12 p.m. that Wednesday afternoon, and I did not stop until Rochester, New York. That was 9 p.m. the following evening.
So but Rochester, New York is further south.
Yes, it is. I rode all the way up to the top of Maine, 6-hour ride. 8-hour ride. It took me 8 hours. I get there at 12 o'clock at night. I go back down to Boston. It's around 6, 7 o'clock. No, actually, it's later than that. It's around 1, 2 o'clock. And then I ride all through Massachusetts and all the way west New York.
You went back to get your license?
I went back to get my license, absolutely.
Right. But did you at least call Keith to thank him?
Absolutely not. Keith was not going to do anything to me. I lived on the edge once, right? I went in this man's house. Walked around. I took a tour. He tried to block my bike. I saw the death stare that he gave me when I was on the porch. I saw the death stare from the lady.
Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy.
I'm not going to be that crazy. So Keith still hasn't heard from me. He probably back there like, dang, we missed one. You know? He probably back there like he's smarter than the rest of them. You know?
I love it. So listen, this is what we're going to do because we're up on an hour, and I think this is obviously going to have to be a journey to chronicle in a series. Okay. Let's make this part one. It's probably going to have to be like maybe a 4-hour series because I am so entertained and interested in this wonderful journey because I don't think I'll ever forget Keith and Dave's lobster crab meat. I'm going to basically put that on my bucket list to add as well. Before we close, give us a part one closing statement before we schedule so we can go ahead and do a part two.
So part one closing statement, always live your life to the fullest. Never not do anything out of fear. If
Right.
you're afraid of something, you conquer that fear so you can have nothing. The only thing you should be afraid of is the Lord Jesus Christ himself.
That's right. That's right. Because he spoke to you, right? The Lord spoke to you
Listen,
while you were on that
we had a
mountain.
conversation. We had a
Absolutely.
conversation. Yeah,
Absolutely. I do believe in spiritual intervention. Absolutely.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So
What?
yeah, man, that was the day. That was day 1, 2, and 3. Day 1,
Wow.
2, and 3. Yeah.
Wow. Out of 20, I don't know, we'll probably need more than 4 hour series. But there
Right.
you have it, social media land. This is Ted Victor signing out with Mr. Lester Ealey III, who is an American traveler who took 3 weeks to ride across the United States on his motorcycle, experiencing things that I have never experienced. And now he is my role model, which he always was. But
Mhm.
now I'm actually aspiring to actually do bigger and bolder things before the Omega chapter. So, Lester, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
No
Just a
problem.
small slice of it. We're going to have to schedule the other hours because I'm so interested in not just hearing from you, but I'm actually looking to reading your book, and I hope
Oh.
to get a signed autograph copy of the book and so forth. Errol
Speaking
Chung
into
said,
existence. Speaking into
yes,
existence.
yes. Errol Chung says, amazing, outstanding, great job, Lester. Stogie Eagley the third and Ted Victor. Thank you, brother Lester, brother Errol Chung. But I thank you
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
very much. You got me cracking up so much I can't even pronounce any names now. But I look forward to it. Offline, we will schedule a time to be able to continue the story because we got to the point where you went back to pick up your driver's
Driver's
license.
license.
And,
Right.
and if it were me, I probably would have gone back to Dave's Crab Meat to get some more crab meat. But
The more
definitely
lobster.
get some more lobster. But thank you so very much. And thank you for giving us the inspiration to live life to the fullest. And this message goes out to everyone on the Browse Social Network and beyond. Time is measured. We do not necessarily know when is our last minute. Please live life to the fullest because you have no idea when you're going to be called to the Omega chapter. Thank you so very much,
Absolutely.
Lester. You
Have
have
a
a
good
wonderful
day.
evening. God bless,
You too.
brother. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you.
All right.